All right, it's like delayed reaction here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the gorgeous George Show. And yes, I am showing my cleavage tonight. Let me put your head a little closer and I can go ahead and breastfeed you. Look at what we have here. It's the prodigal son who has returned, Mr. Kaye Lazar. Okay, so we got that going on. So Kaye Lazar, tell the people a thing or two of what is going on, and
I'm happy to be here.
Well, that's great. That's great.
I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be on the Gorgeous George.
And you're feeling regular tonight, which is good. And I feel regular, and I'm not irregular. And I took my Memoirs, and it's coming out pretty good. Thank you very much. Yes. Okay. All right. So we have not been. When was the last time we did a show? That was like Super Bowl of last year.
Yeah.
Okay. Super Bowl Sunday of last year.
Tom Brady was in that.
Tom Brady was in that Super Bowl. Yes, he was.
He's like in almost every Super Bowl.
Yes, he is. And now, Mr. Brady, there's rumor about Tom Brady retiring, but it's not been official yet. We don't know yet. Oh, and by the way, we're going to be the props. Tonight's Gorgeous George Show is being brought to you by Barber Salt. Barber Salt. Now, not only does it, when you want to clean Barber Salt, it cleans and makes your face as smooth as a woman's vagina hole. Well,
smooth as a baby's bum.
Yeah, smooth as a hole. And it says here, try it. You'll like it. Gorgeous George Show tonight, Barber Salt.
Barber Salt.
Barber Salt. And
Barber Salt is one of those old-fashioned.
And of course, we're going to go throughout the whole thing because why I'm so clean shaved tonight. Also, the Gorgeous George Show.
Welcome to the club.
If you have shaving cream, you got to also have razors. So, Dollar Shave Club, brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. It will smooth. If you want the Andre Agassi look, it will clean all that chest hair right off. And if you want your ass crack taken care of, it will go ahead and shave it off. It's the Andre Agassi special, the Dollar Shave Club. And listen, if you're like Richard Gere and you play with gerbils, it will take that gerbil clean off too. Dollar Shave Club. Have you ever tried one? Have you used one before?
I've used Dollar Shave.
Dollar Shave Club? It makes it smooth, doesn't it?
I use almost any razor that works. I actually stockpile a lot. I have razors to last me pretty much probably the rest of my life.
Okay. Well, that's good.
I don't get the beard like I used to. So even that's going to take.
Let me tell you something. I got 2 weeks, and not only is it gray. I mean, we're talking Kenny Rogers. I mean, of course, it's not Kenny Rogers. I have a little gray spot, but it doesn't the Kenny Rogers look. But it has the gray all around. And I mean, almost look maybe like one of Christ's disciples. Maybe think of somebody. I don't know, just a beard. It's not. You can't grow the full beard, but it's enough to say that close enough.
During the pandemic, a lot of the talk show hosts like Colbert and Jimmy Fallon grew beards, used the opportunity to grow beards. Then when they were very surprised there was so much gray in their beard because their hair is somewhat black and probably a touch of gray. But your beard hair gets grayer before your head hair does.
Now, you think the hair, but now what about the pube hair? You think the pube hair gets gray too? Or what?
Oh yes.
Pubic hair gets gray too. So, ladies, you don't need to color it. You don't need to dye like your hair on your head. Just let it go. Just if you want to grow gray. Now, let's say you want to take the gray away, then you might have to dye your pubic hair. It's very possible.
You're getting older when you spend the night with a lovely woman and it's all her pubic hair is gray.
And
at that point, you don't even care. You're just so happy she showed up.
Right. And if you wanted to add it to the collection, if she wants to go, if she wants to shave it down there also too, and you're looking for an instant mustache, well, guess what you can do? Just shave it off, all clean and smooth.
Yeah.
And then you got a little mustache, and you can glue it like Elmer's glue or crazy glue on your actual upper lip, and then you have an instant mustache. The only problem is, good luck taking the damn thing off.
There's an episode of Jackass where they get these guys that have crab lice in their pubic hair, and they shave it off and on their ass hair, and then they make a beard for a guy, and at the same time the guy who gets the beard doesn't even know that this is where they got the heat.
Right.
Said, "Oh, we got this hair from your girlfriend's hairbrush or something," and it was all from the guy's ass hair and pubic hair with crabs actually growing in it. That's jackass.
Come to my pube. Remember that? Come to my pube. Yes. Because remember pubic asses. Because we had the public asses and they were pubic asses too. And those pubic asses were bad. Those pubic asses you had to pluck off like freaking bad hairs. But anyway, I digress. So, yes, we are now trying to figure out whether Tom Brady is going to retire. We don't know. Tom Brady might retire. I was so revved up this year about my Cowboys. I was so revved up thinking this was the Cowboys' year. And then they just break your heart like they always do. I mean, they had, positions, playing positions. The Cowboys have all the talent. Cowboys have all the talent that they could have on their team, and yet they fall short again. And they want to fire McCarthy, they want to do this. And I mean, Jerry has said that he wants to get another Super Bowl before he dies. And I believe it. I met Jerry Jones about it in 06. He wants another Super Bowl before he dies. And I tell you what, I would love to have, and Jerry Jones is a businessman. Jerry Jones is a marketing machine. If he sold you ice cream on a stick, or if he sold you the lettuce, sold you women's lingerie, you'd buy it because the man is a business marketing. He's a business marketing.
Sold insurance.
I guess sold insurance.
I mean, that was his. That's where people want to know what Jerry Jones did before. He didn't just spring out of nowhere.
Yeah,
He was a
and the thing
leader.
about him, unlike these other owners, he actually played football.
Yeah,
he knows.
What teams he played
football. Played for Arkansas.
Oh, he played for college.
Played for Arkansas. So he knows X's and O's.
Razorbacks.
And that's how he knows Jimmy Johnson. He knows Jimmy Johnson. And if you know the connection, they're connected with Bill Clinton too. Because Bill Clinton, Jerry Jones, and Jimmy Johnson are all friends. And especially with Jerry and Bill. And Bill because they went to Arkansas. They're about the same age. From Arkansas, but they weren't. Yeah, well, no, they didn't go to Arkansas, but they're from Arkansas. But there's the connection there.
Yeah, but I know
Arkansas
something.
Razorbacks. Of course, obviously, we know that Clinton went to
Georgetown.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, and Oxford.
Oxford, yeah, that's what I was saying.
But let me tell you,
Oxford, yeah.
Well, I don't know what you know about how people get along, but in Texas, people look down on people from Arkansas.
Well, Arkansasian, or what do you call it? Arkansas for Kansas.
It's actually the original way you pronounce it.
When we went through, when me and Magical Matt went through to that vaunted trip back in '99 to Vegas, we went through Arkansas, and it's like Bible Belt. I mean, extreme Bible Belt. Everything is closed up. There's everything is shut down. 11 o'clock. Where's the bar?
It's the second most backward state in America.
Everything is shut down because we are shut down right now because we got to get ready for today night is Friday night, but we got to get ready for Sunday because we're going to go to church.
The governor of Arkansas, who was Clinton, and then another guy went to jail, and then Huckabee.
Yeah.
They, I'm sure they got a raise, but in those days they only made $35,000 a year. This is back in I think the 1980s, and yeah, they were making $35,000 a year, and they said, well, how did the Clintons live on $35,000 a year? He says, well, Hillary was a high-priced attorney, and she made all the money.
Yeah. Well, anyway, but you go back there.
But you never go into politics for the money,
What you think about it, though, and when back in the Bill Clinton was governor. It was the 80s, wasn't it? It was in the 80s when Bill Clinton was not governor because obviously he was president in the 90s.
He lost the first time he ran, and then won the second time.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And then a lot of these guys lose before they win. Because they usually learn a lot when they lose. That's how you learn politics. It's not, Romney lost, what was it, the Senate of...
he was a good one,
he lost the Senate of Massachusetts and then ran for governor, and what he learned from losing to Kennedy, Ted Kennedy, he put it towards winning the governorship of the most the bluest state in America, Massachusetts.
Massachusetts, going to Massachusetts.
Now he's the senator of Utah. Yeah.
He's a good Mormon. He's a good Mormon, and he has a woman every day, a different woman for 7 days a week. I would love. I mean, listen, these Mormons. I'm telling you what, the Mormons, a woman every night. Isn't that the life? You have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then you throw in that extra one for the 8th day, whatever day that could be.
Actually, there's no law against. I mean, there is a law against marrying lots of women, but there's no law against living with lots of. So a lot of these people can say they're married to many people, but the state doesn't recognize it. I don't even think the Mormon Church, the Church of Latter-day Saints, recognizes it either. But there have been people, and you can do that. There was a famous gangster in Ireland that was not married to them. He had 2 sisters, and he had kids with both of them. Yeah. They were all happy living together.
There you go.
To me, 3's a crowd, though.
And I just found out that Larry Flint died also.
Larry Flint?
So it was just a whole slew of people that I was shocked to know that died. I mean, Larry Flint died.
Hugh Hefner died.
Well, I knew about Hugh Hefner.
Yeah. Howard Hessman just died.
Howard Hessman, WKRP in Cincinnati.
Bob Saget just died.
Yeah, I knew about that. But there was a whole boatload in 21. The guy from the Cleveland show, of course, Betty White. We know about Betty White. But the guy that played with David Spade, the older guy, what's that guy's name?
Louis Anderson died.
Yeah, but what was that show with David Spade, the comedy show?
George Segal.
George Segal.
Yeah, George Segal. He actually was still working when he died. He was on the Goldbergs as the grandfather.
Yeah, George Segal died. So I mean, I didn't even know that.
He was 87.
Oh, because but these are good. This is good long lives. I mean, to say you live in your 80s, that's about average. And if you go to your 90s, you've superseded anything. I mean, an average right now would be like 85. Like John Madden. John Madden was a rotund, person, but John Madden, obviously, he played football. John Madden lived a long. I mean, 85, I would think, is a long life.
He lived to be 85 for a guy who didn't look like he took care of himself. Although he did lose a lot of weight once, but he gained it all back. Yeah. He was on like a slim fast diet or something. But that's not. You can't really. You can lose a lot of weight right away, but then you don't. You have to figure out a plan to keep it off.
Well, it's just I'm just with him. He just went and then it came back. But he, like I said, a man living to be 80 in his middle 80s, 85. That's a good life, I would think.
Yes, it is.
An average life, decent.
It is but it's quality of life. Like you don't want to live like Christopher Reeve.
Right. Or Stephen Hawkings.
Stephen Hawkins. Brilliant,
lived
to be like close to 80 years old.
Couldn't walk or could barely talk.
His brain was still important enough to keep functioning.
Stephen Hawking, yeah.
The smartest man. Roger Ebert had the biggest blog on the internet. And when you're reading it, this is like the last 5 years of his life. Right. You had to realize the man didn't have a jaw to speak with. Right. But he still had a brain that he could type all the things and go to movies and review them and stuff and everything. So but as long as you have your brain and your sense, that actually will get you through.
And ladies, it's all about the senses, because I can see what you're doing right now, Sue Ellen. Also, I can feel you through the presence on the camera, Sue Ellen. My hand is going like this. You're sitting there watching. Who is that sarcastic cuss with a gray streak in his hair? Well, in case you've been under a rock, he'd be GG, as in not GG, but GG, as in gorgeous, George. Yeah. So you're sitting there strumming it with your pantyhose on, and I put my hand right through the camera and playing with your little middle instrument right there. Zippity-doo-dah, zippity-yay all night long.
I like the real thing better. I have to admit.
It's energy. Imaging. These women are not privileged to be here right now, so we have to paint them the picture.
And I am.
We have to paint them the picture. So we paint them the picture. Little imagery there. and they feel it. They feel it going right there. It's going right through your panty, my hand. So the senses of me seeing you, feeling you, don't want to really hear you, but I can hear you, but sometimes I might not want to hear everything you're saying. And then eating you. It's like a cannibal. Anyway.
You're like Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah. Yeah, so anyway.
He does that after he makes the Chianti reference. Follow me. You know, you talk about underwear. You go to like the stores now, and like any men's store, even like TJ Maxx or any place like that, or certainly
TJ Maxx,
or even Macy's. When I say TJ Maxx, they have a big underwear department,
Right.
At a discount. And we're talking about men's underwear, and it all looks so ugly. It's all nylon and lumpy and.
Well, it's like women's underwear. You know, it feels good on your crotch. You know, I'm thinking of Sue Ellen as I put on the underwear. She says, "Man, this is almost like a panty, but it feels like a pantyhose, but it's going right next to my crotch. And kind of makes me feel special." But you know,
the way I see underwear, well, I mean, I can only talk about my own.
Okay.
Is that I think underwear should be like let me say a bathing suit should be more like underwear.
Right.
And if you look good in a particular bathing suit, then that is the type of underwear you should be wearing. Because I see underwear. I even see good-looking men models in fashion shows, and they can't make some of this underwear look good.
Right.
Now the women always look good in underwear because women could wear the big underwear, the small underwear, or almost no underwear in this, and they seem to sell it all right.
Well.
But in fact, women have actually even told me, "Why do men have such ugly underwear?" And I said, "Yeah."
Yeah.
I wish somebody has to invent a better underwear for men.
The underwear, sometimes the underwear has like a little pre-spot. Now you put the underwear.
I'm just talking about the shape. I'm not talking about the stains.
I'm getting into the nooks and crannies here, and the crannies and the nooks. You just put the underwear. It's nice, to kind of design and so. Oh man, look at this underwear. And then as you're progressing or doing whatever you're doing, and then you're ready to come home, and you take your underwear off because you hop in the shower, and you see this nice little stain, and you want, oh, did I do that? Honey, come here. Look at this. She said, what's going on? I said, well, when I got this from the TJ Maxx, I didn't see this stain. Well, it must have been on there, and I didn't even see it. No, silly, you must have pooped it. Mm-hmm. Did I poot and do this? And he looks at it closely and said, yes, that must have came out of my anal cheeks.
Let me tell you something. When a woman once told me this, the honeymoon is over when that happens with your husband.
What if
there's no more mysteries in life.
What if it happens with a woman? And she did her underwear, and she did that.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, but it's
you live with someone
it's
long
more
enough.
acceptable. More acceptable and whatnot. And let me tell you
That's
something.
why it's the best type of relationship is one where you leave in the middle of the night and never have to worry about that.
Let me tell you something. And when it rains, and when the rain is red, and you're going through there, and she's going, ooh, and you're saying, yeah, baby, daddy's taking care of you. And she's going, ooh, but I'm raining inside. And we're talking about the rain inside of the vagina.
Oh, wait, you talking about menstruating?
Why? When you're going, and you're going in there, he said, ooh, it tingles. I said, well, I hope daddy's making you feel good. Mm-hmm. And so, it's actually, it's heightened because she's actually having her period. And women like that. Now, women know that.
Only a girlfriend knows that. Or a wife. Yeah. A one night stand, you just take a week off. But if you have a steady boyfriend, they kind of expect you to go there. And when you do it, but you do it.
When you're doing it, of course, I do it, with a woman that I love. I'll do it bareback all 24/7. But you're doing it with someone you don't know. Always put that rain jacket on, put that cap on, and then rain jacket on your head because it can get kind of cold. all that blood, gets kind of cold.
Well, I saw a movie. How do you know? It was a very good movie.
Yeah.
It's Jack Nicholson's last movie.
Oh, is it?
But he didn't say the best line. The best line is said by Owen Wilson, where he plays a ball player and he says, "I think I found the woman I love." He goes, "How do you know?" And the other ball player says, "How do you know it's the woman you love?" And he says, "Because I wear a condom with all the other girlfriends."
My favorite line from Jack Nicholson.
Yeah.
I don't want to hurt you. I want to kill you.
The Shining.
The Shining.
Yeah.
That was his best movie, as far as I'm concerned. Was The Shining.
It's probably, yeah.
I don't want to hurt you.
Famous for that.
I want to kill you.
I like all, pretty much all of his movies I like Prizzi's Honor is my favorite. But the Batman and The Shining is good.
Yeah, and we talk about the best Joker, Cesar Romero. I don't give a damn what anybody says. And then when Heath Ledger and Joaquin Phoenix. The bottom line is we know that Cesar Romero was the Joker.
He was great. Do you know that when I was a kid, I saw a movie from the 1930s with Shirley Temple. It was The Little Princess, and Cesar Romero plays the Indian in it, the mystic with the turban. And I was so excited to see that movie because I, at that point, as a 8-year-old, never seen Cesar Romero without his Joker makeup on.
Right. And the only person that's still alive is Robin. And Catwoman.
And the Catwoman.
Robin and Catwoman. There's the only two that are still alive.
Oh, I'll tell you, go even further than that. There's only one living monkey, Mickey. There's two. There's actually more living beetles than there are living monkeys.
Yeah, you got
there's
two of those.
One,
and one Mona Lisa and only one Gorgeous George. But go ahead.
There you go. And I'm trying to every time I watch something, I try to figure out who's still alive and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And sounds like you said, it's very daunting every year. I think there's only one living person from the movie It's a Mad, 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 Mad World. That's I think Barry Chase. Everyone else is dead.
Mm.
Gone with the Wind, they're all dead. Wizard of Oz, they're all dead.
Wizard of Oz, yeah.
Even the Munchkins are dead.
Wizard of Oz. Well, one hung himself, obviously.
Oh, that's
one hung himself,
yeah. You always hear that story.
Yeah, well, they did.
It's a long shot. It's actually a bird, but everyone says, was that a munchkin? And it's it's one of those pause shots
They said, and I don't know if it's urban.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's urban legend or not, but they said that during the film that one of those little, I don't know, but I'm politically correct saying midget, one of those midgets took their life.
Yeah.
And I believe it's true.
I heard that they were big partiers. They were wild. They never had such a it was basically a convention for dwarfs and everything and midgets and little people, and thus they were all there.
Yeah. And
thus they were just having the time of their life, and they would have. I've heard they were at the hotel rooms. They were drunk and having orgies and everything during the making of it. To the point that Judy Garland, who was just 18 years old, she looked younger, but she was only 18 years old. Was aghast by their behavior.
Right. And then, look at Vern Troyer. Good God. Of course, he was the newest favorite midget, small person. I don't know what you call it. And he did the kickstand. He had at the beginning of the kickstand. His penis was bigger than him.
Yeah, I think they tend to have for their sizes.
I shall call him Mini-Me. Kevin, just imagine you have a little thing running around just like you. And I had a little midget just like me. I shall call him Mini Gigi.
I know that that every time I see a woman with a baby and that she dresses just like the baby, or the baby dresses like her, I always say, "Is that your Mini-Me?" Yeah, that's my Mini-Me.
There you go. Way to do it. I've always said this. Everybody should have a pet midget. It's like a little animal, a pet. Have a Chihuahua or have your big German Shepherd. Everybody should have a pet midget. And look, if I'm offending you, then sue me. Okay? All right, go ahead.
I think we've lost our little people audience.
Anyway,
I want to tell you something about little people, though. When I was a kid, they were like movie stars to us. If we saw one, and met one and talked to one, that's all we talked about the rest of the week. That it was almost like meeting like Babe Ruth or something, or Tom Cruise or something. So anyway, I remember seeing. I once got to be friends with a dwarf, and I said, "What's it like being a dwarf?" He goes, "Oh, it's a lot of fun." I says, "Is there any downside to it?" He goes, "There is one downside to it." He goes, "When little kids see you, they want to pick you up all the time, and that gets very old very fast."
So wait now, but isn't when you call them a dwarf, isn't that almost like a slur? Calling them a dwarf.
I don't really know the terminology. It used to be when I was a kid that a dwarf was what they called a midget was just a regular size. They looked proportional,
okay,
but they were just smaller. While a dwarf was kind of misshapen, maybe a sway back or a hump or something, or short legs or short arms, and usually what you would say maybe an unhealthier version of a little person. But now they are all called dwarfs.
Right.
So that's how it goes, and that's how they want to be called, and so that's what I call them, dwarfs.
Okay.
Yeah. People should. Dwarves, I mean, there are a lot of
dwarves, midgets, small people.
Well, I mean, we have
small people. I don't know.
We have to change all our terminology. We can't use the N word anymore. We can't use.
Well, no, I mean,
we never should.
I mean, I understand.
We can't use,
but I mean, it's just, but.
Well, you can't say the R word referring to people.
Case in point, okay, yeah. and then because I don't give a rat's ass, I'm a Cowboy fan, but the name Redskin.
There you go.
Name Redskin to attack the Indian or whatever, and of course, I mean, let me tell you something. Screw the Redskins. The Redskins like donkey dicks. Cowboys, baby, all the way. But even, and I'm not objective in the least bit, but the name Redskin, I mean, that team has been known as the Redskin.
Yeah.
Redskin for all these many years. So, I mean, I'm not, and of course, they're going to come up with a new name here in a couple days.
Yeah.
They have a new name. I call
Cleveland
them
Indians changing it?
I call them the Siberians, the Slashington Shitskins. The Slashington, because the S and shit, Slashington Shitskins. The Cleveland Indians. Cleveland, don't tell me. Cleveland, what the hell do you call them now? Cleveland, what's the name they call them? Well, yeah, they call them a different name.
I was never a fan of the Cleveland team.
Yeah. So, I mean, I understand the reason, but it's just a little bit too politically correct. I understand about, being sensitive and being sensitive to people and, and all that, but it's just getting a little too politically correct.
Yeah.
That's just my humble opinion.
Well, I'll tell you, I'll tell you
Yeah.
other things that are changed in the last few years. Probably since like during COVID, a lot has changed, and one thing is a more broadening of our acceptance of transgender people, and like a lot of people, even on this show, we'd make jokes and everything, but now I look back on it, those jokes weren't right.
Well, look. To say the word faggot, and I'm just saying the word faggot, it's when I said it back in the 90s, and to think that now when you say it, it's almost as like it's a slur. It's a slur. Yeah. Look,
and yet, the way I see it is we didn't know any better. We're more enlightened now, and now we won't say it.
No, I just we'll just say maggot. Hey, maggots. But that's still, I guess, looked at.
Well, actually, what's crazy is if you replace one word for another word, then that other word becomes the bad word.
You can't win either way.
You can't win.
But we know who the true maggots are. That's all I gotta say. The true maggots out there. We know who you are. Anyway,
maggots are actually those bugs that eat rotting meat.
Yeah, on a carcass. On a carcass, and they're just scavengers, and they're scavengers, and or like a buzzard. Like a buzzard swoops down on its prey and starts eating the dead matter and the dead carcass. Okay.
Also, there's all this they call it cancel culture, where there are all these guys that used to be womanizers like you and me are now considered cads and I mean, in other words, guys that I wouldn't say like you and me, but guys that were work in offices and chase after their secretary. Or those guys are now being silenced by people like Matt Lauer and David Letterman. Pretty much got away with it, but he was probably the last guy to ever get away with it.
You mean with the Me movement? Are you talking about, or
well, mainly I was thinking of it's getting to the point now that men have a hard time just asking a woman out for a date because they say you just want to sleep with me, and I said, well, that's why I'm asking you out for a date.
I'm going to say this.
I want to fall in love.
I'm 53. You're well. You know,
I'm somewhat close to 53.
Yeah, you're funny. You're a funny guy. All I gotta say is plus seven, and then you get your answer. Anyway, I'm 53,
right?
And as I get older,
hope I look as good as when I'm your age.
Yeah, okay, all right. So as we get older, and as I get attention, just focus.
Okay.
Focus right now. Okay. So as older as I get, you don't teach an old dog new tricks. Ain't teaching me no new tricks. The old dog is gonna be the old dog. Mm-hmm. I love women. I love pussy. I love pussy. Just like grapefruit, it squirts. Just like grapefruit, the ones that squirt, that's beautiful. I love it. I love it. Just squeeze it. Squirts in my eye. Oh my God, that gets me off. That gets me really horny when it squirts. But anyway, I digress. But as much as I love pussy and grapefruit,
you like grapefruit?
Yeah, I said it squirts. I said it squirts like grapefruit.
It's sour.
Catch straight. It squirts like grapefruit. It squirts like pussy squirts too. But the climax that I'm getting to is that I love women, and there are a lot of these women that will use the word creepy. Or some women will use the word creepy, and some women will use the term, obnoxious. You're obnoxious, baby. And that's the minority, because most women will say, hey, honey, you want me? And I said, you damn Skippy, I want you. You want to feel me? And I said, you damn Skippy, I want to feel you. And I can feel you without even touching you, because right here, synchronicity to my eyes zooming down on those perkers, on those little beacons. So, no, I love women. I love women. I think you do too. And
I think you do?
Yeah. I think you do. I hope you do.
Yeah, I would know.
Yeah, okay.
Love women.
I love women. So, I am never, when someone is going to say, oh, well, you're talking a little too much, or you're creepy, or you're obnoxious and all that.
No date them.
Then there's the door. Don't let the door hit you, or the good Lord split you. Take the high road, hit the road, and don't you come back no more. Because the way I see it is, when you see this beautiful, I call it specimen because I am, this beautiful specimen, this beautiful person, 53, still got the beans, still got the guns, all right, still got the guns, still have it, what's causing all of this.
Well, that's a good,
and that's what we got, right?
Did you write a book?
Yeah, I did.
Show
well,
that
we're going to get into that just a little bit. What's causing?
I think it's great how you didn't put your face on it. I mean, it's. I think it's. I mean, that shows you a lack of ego, which is everyone complains.
No, ego.
And you don't put your own face on it.
Face is right there. You can see it.
Oh, they put writing over it.
That's all right. It's a little different.
It's different.
Yeah, different. Well, I mean, if you read it, you can see how different it is. It's something I can't make up that shit. It's what it is. I'm gonna read a little bit of it. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. So anyway, yes, I just lost the climax, but the climax will come right back again. No, but
it's in the book.
It's in the book. But the climax is, and the story to be told is that some of these women go out of their way to make it bad for the man. I mean, some of these women will yell whatever they want to yell, and make it a story out of it, or make it a false claim to something, when in all actuality that's just what it is, because they're troublemakers and they're whatever. if you do something against someone, violate someone, then by all means. If you haven't, if you're just being flirtatious, you're being flirtatious and a squirvy pervy, which is nothing wrong about being squirvy pervy, then you're fine. So that's the way I see it.
Okay. I mean,
Uncle Pervy. Uncle Pervy. Yes. Okay.
We were thinking, a few years ago, I remember we were thinking of doing a regular TV series where we played the uncles, and you were. I was going to play the crazy one, and you were going to play the creepy one.
Listen to you. Listen to you.
Crazy uncle.
Yeah.
Crazy. But
was it Uncle Fester, or was it Uncle Fester?
You want to know the truth? I think you and I on a TV series would have been great.
Yeah.
On a TV series where where we act and we have
yeah. All right, let's go to talk about this book here. We'll talk about this book because there's some people out there that think that there's no book. Well, if you look a little close right there, you see the ISBN right there. That means the book has been published. Look closely. Mm-hmm. The ISBN means the book has been published.
Yeah.
Now, it is for someone who...
Does it come with crayons?
Unfortunately. It doesn't come with crayons. But it's scratch and sniff. So in one little chapter I have, here's previous women that I've played with.
Yeah.
And they shaved off their pube and we glued it to a certain page.
Oh, good.
Their pube is glued to a page so we can kind of scratch and sniff it and have a memory of it.
In the future, they could use that hair to clone of a girlfriend of George's.
All right. I'm going to read it a little bit, and you've read the book.
Yes, I have.
You've read the book. You know exactly all about it. This is the favorite part that some of these bungholes out there that I guess that they think is entertaining. So some of these bungholes, obviously, they don't want to mention it. They don't want to say it. Obviously, think it wasn't funny, but obviously they talked about it. So in happenstances, they obviously were entertained by it. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to get to that part right here. And this is a part where we had a female, and I'm going to get to it. A female shared my bed. And we're going to talk about it.
It's a very inspiring paragraph.
Yeah. Yeah.
All is romantic history.
All
very
right.
inspiring paragraph.
We're going to get to it right now. All right. Blah, blah, blah. Hear a little Jeopardy music being played right here as I want to get to it.
There was a transgender winner on Jeopardy for 2 months.
Is it?
Yeah.
Who's hosting Jeopardy now?
Right now it's Ken Jennings, but it will be Mayim Bialik, who's played Blossom.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought Meredith Vieira had popped her head.
She did it. No, it was Katie Couric who did it for a week. They had a
was it?
revolving door. I think they were all auditioning. Right. Even Joe Buck did it.
All right, so here we go. Back to my lady friends. I had a few other relationships. One with some interesting ladies. One with a hottie named Gloria who was a massage therapist. Sex was excellent until she moved to Florida. And we'll get to the part right here. And then, of course, there was Cynthia. Paid call girl, but she paid me for my services. This is back in '89, of course, so for me, I may be paid call girl. But anyway, I invited her to my house for several booty calls. The first time I paid, the next 5 times she paid. The first night she appeared, my dad and stepmom were snoring away. She asked me, "Who are they?" I said from afar that they were from out of town, spending the night. Cynthia was great with her tongue, and could blow bubbles out of the sperm she swallowed. It was great because she was a giver as well as a receiver. Had 6 different encounters where she finally paid me. Well, we already said that. Each time she wanted me to go deeper and deeper in her diaphragm and penetrate. Harder, she said. Harder each time. And I said, "Who is your daddy?" What a great fuck fest. It was fantastic and therapeutic until she moved elsewhere, as well as months few after the fun and frolic we had. And then in 1990, I met a Buddhist. She was trying to recruit me to attend meetings at her church. Her name was Dreama. She was definitely had a dreamy look, but was staunch on getting me to go with her to these Buddhist meetings. I went to one and I laughed my ass off. Every bit of everybody chanting and sitting down in Indian teepee positioning, chanting Mayo Ringo Kayo Sayo, Mayo Ringo Kayo Sayo. It became louder, and the gathering until the toy castle got knocked down by the toy Buddha with a light burning in his belly. I laughed my ass off, but she wasn't interested in Space Mountain. She had to go ahead and be gone. Like the foot fungus that was in there that I smelt for everybody taking their shoes off without their shoes on. It was definitely a sight and a smell of a gathering that had me tripping. Okay. And then let's get into something else. That's only on page. That's only in chapter 2. And I mean, it's so much in this book of what's causing all of this. What's your favorite part, if you can remember?
What I
31
like,
chapters.
that was a great poet's corner there.
But
My
fun,
favorite
yeah.
part, any
Yeah.
part that has me in it.
Oh, listen to you. Listen to you. All right, let's see what we got going on here. Let's see if I can find a part with you in here. I don't know.
No. You don't need to read about me because I'm here.
Okay, well, do it.
You got the real thing.
All right, let's.
Actually, if you read too much of your book, no one will
It's,
buy it.
no, well, I mean, I'm not reading too much about it. I mean, it's just that was what those imbeciles were talking about. And those imbeciles were talking about it, but they obviously were jerking off to it because they kept talking about it.
That's
And let me see here.
That's not a nice thing to say about the people who read your book.
Yeah, well, I'm just
The
saying.
people who read your book should be very
Yeah,
highly
well,
educated
they-
people.
Well, they were there. just by what I read would be that. So let me get into another little funny thing here. The theme of Jeopardy playing. I get so much. Okay, let's see. Chapter 14. All right. There we go. Let's just get into something. Let's get into something that's captivating here. All right, here we go. Death of my father. No, I don't want to talk about that because that was painful. Oh my gosh, goodness gracious. Okay, Kevin and myself continued in dealing with trolls calling up the show. I'll read this. Okay. I became more alert to what these imbeciles were doing by stealing my copyright and making me look like a complete cartoon. One evening, after Kevin and I finished up the show, a program director had made mention that there were some people outside who wanted autographs. You remember this one. So I poked my head outside. Two younger kids were outside from VCU, Virginia Commonwealth campus, college known as VCU, approached me saying, "Gorgeous George, we are fans of your show and want to so desperately to get an autograph and appear on your show." I said to them, "I'm flattered, but I can't guarantee you a spot on the show, but I'll sign anything you have for me to sign." So Kevin and myself signed and autographed some trinkets. Oh, there were trinkets? I don't know what they were. That they brought with them, and we shall see if we can get you on, but it can't be promised. All right. I don't know. Okay, let me see here. I know them on. Wait a second. So yeah, so then basically the kid's name was Michael Rafferty, red pube face, along with some other assorted kids that were dysfunctional. Okay, this is page right here. Though in that brief interlude didn't seem right and felt to me that they were trolls pretending to be fans. Whatever the case might, the initials were thought the process was correct because they posted pictures they took with us on a site called Something Awful. The internet wars started because these punks kept getting more vile and attacked me and Kevin. And I bantered back with these individuals and became a flame war on the crap site, better known as Something Awful. They were a bunch of compulsive masturbators and became more of an issue when these VCU punks started attacking me and the show. Every Thursday night we had a block of time that these masturbators would call up in every time. The kid, Michael Rafferty, was a hideous-looking creature. I called him Red Pew Face. He had a red beard that pecked off from his private area. Pubic hairs we were talking about. Hence the name Red Pew Face. Finally came up and made threats about a group coming to the station on their little site. For a while, I didn't post anything in relations to this, and they were talking about it. So I saw this on their page and planned to attack. They had planned to attack the station. Ironically, it just so happened that through that time, a presidential election between Bush and Kerry was going on. The other show was interviewing. The show that took place of mine that one particular evening was interviewing a presidential candidate, Libertarian Party. So this misdirection game trap was on. Kevin and I spoke on the phone about scheming against these bitches. Kevin said, "Get them and get them good." And then this was all explained in detail about how this was planned. I spoke with the station manager, Art Johnson, and told him that these bitches were going to plan an attack and they were going to bang on the door thinking that we were doing a show. I said to call the police, or better yet, I'll be standing a block away and I'll make the phone call. So this was on. So while they thought my show was going on to be aired, the other show was aired in place of mine. And for ironically, not only to get these bitches, but supposedly that was the only time the vice presidential candidate could appear on their other show. Later, I figured I wasn't on that night. Later, they figured I wasn't on that night, and the attention on me walking up to them. I made a phone call to the Richmond Police Department and explained the story. And they were ready to come when I signaled them. The games were ready to begin. Down 2 blocks away, about 10 to 15 of them were walking down the street. I parked my car 2 blocks away from the station, and I got out of my car and walked up to that direction. After seeing them, I called the police and said, "They're 2 blocks away. Please come." The police were notified. So they walked up to the station yelling and screaming and banging on the window station. I caught up to them and said, What are you looking for? Are you looking for someone?" They started walking to the car and saying, "Why aren't you on the camera? Why aren't you on TV?" And I said, "Why? Why are you yelling and screaming and causing a ruckus?" They started shouting obscenities and vile, disgusting things and directed me and asking, and if they took me off the air because of my show and the complaints that the station had, then I smiled and said, "Don't you worry. All concerns will be addressed." Then the fireworks were about to begin. Just then, two police cars came up in the station and dispersed. And these people started dispersing like the bitches they were off the property. I said, "Don't leave. The party has just begun." and they were all walking into the opposite direction and had their heads between their asses. Glorious day for Gorgeous George. Action was taken, and these thugs were going to be arrested for the decoy and lingering outside the building, signaling the police. Glorious day, October 24th, 2004. I remember that day well. They were so pissed off, they called back the station questioning the show, why the show was, what was going on. They called the police back because the candidate felt threatening by all the banging going on. And I told Art Johnson, I said, "This is what I told you." And Kevin had a belly laugh and was laughing his way and said, "That's funny as hell." And it was outstanding. For once, we had the biggest coup of them all. It was a brilliant plan that I came up with, and the blessing of the station manager as well at the end. Couldn't turn out any better. Though that didn't stop these bitches because they started to do more. And the station manager ended up giving them a show. Then I asked them and told them, It would be a snowball's chance in hell, but AJ did it anyway. The unthinkable. All right, I'm almost there. Anyway, that's part. That was a triumphant time. Just the same for us. Didn't seem to please him. Couldn't get them to turn them down. He said that we can't turn them down because they're part of the community. I said no, they're riveting imbeciles that are trying to spew their venom. Anyway, that was a good part right there. That was a glorious part where we took these trolls and we slapped them across the face. We took these trolls and we spit in their face, so to speak. It's all in here. What's causing all this? And by the way, ladies, what is causing all this? The book is about the man that is causing this wonderment to all the ladies. The man better known as Gorgeous George Yarid, local entertainer in Richmond, Virginia, that hosts public access program for more than 20 years. Entertainer, businessman, and entrepreneur.
Yeah, all I want to do is look at the pictures.
Well,
is there a centerfold?
They're just scratching stuff. Scratching stuff.
Like a Burt Reynolds type centerfold in there.
I tell you what.
Yeah.
Wasn't that great?
Yes, it was great. You know what's great right now? The economy under Biden.
Yeah, well, I think that with anything, we'll get into that right now. I think that basically that there's a lot of things that Biden has done. Biden is trying to turn things around. There's some things that I question.
There's 4% unemployment right now, and anyone who wants a job can get one.
Right. Well, that is true.
First time. Yeah.
That's true.
Inflation is bad, but that's bound to happen.
Well, I think that Biden is doing good. I think Biden's doing a good job. Afghanistan situation, Trump, we were going to get out of there anyway. It's just the way it was done. I think the key mistake that Biden made was by telling the Taliban the date that we were going to be leaving. If we just did it like the Baltimore Colts did out of Baltimore, there would have been no question. I think that by giving them a date, the Taliban was going to go in there anyway and create havoc and whatnot. You can't. These people are martyrs. They believe that if they die, they've done something good. If they die,
they get 72 virgins.
Yes. So there you go with that. So I think that basically that there are certain things. I'm not. The gas is high. Yes, the gas is high.
The president has very little to do with that. But the president will take credit or get heat, whatever the price is.
I think that this crap about him being senile is totally exaggerated. The man is 79 years old. It could be 80. I could be wrong. The man is 79 years old. He has a stuttering problem. He
Always had it.
So what?
Yeah. He's had it when he was a kid.
You met him. Saw the Earth guy.
Spoke to me.
Saw the Earth guy. Seems like a good guy.
Well, they're all good.
Presidential man that had loved his country for 47 years. 47 years loved his country and served for the community and the government. Very compassionate, very, very sincere, genuine person that believed in doing good. And within the year has done his best, has done good. There's some things
a breath of fresh air from Alaska.
I think there's some things questionable, some things that are questionable, but nevertheless, the man is very likable. He's very likable, and he's presidential person that is doing the best he can and has a right. And we will right the wrong in Afghanistan. We should be able to right the wrong in Afghanistan. And gas prices will fluctuate.
Well,
but we were going to leave there anyway.
We were. In fact, it was Trump that wanted us. In fact, all the presidents tried. Obama wanted us out. They all wanted us out.
Yeah.
The only guy who wanted us in was George W. Bush.
Right.
And he was kind of forced into it because of 9/11. But let me tell you something. There was no easy way to get out to get out of Afghanistan. It was going to be a mess, no matter who did it or how it was done.
Right.
And we have another show I think since Biden became president. But I mean the January 6th insurgents. That was. I mean we're still talking about it. And nobody is being punished except for a handful of protesters. Are getting there, and then Trump just said, was it yesterday that or Saturday said it that that when he becomes president again in 2024, he said that they're going to hand out pardons and they're going to build statues to all those guys. And of course, they got a big cheer. And that's a scary thought. And he also said that if he said something even scarier than that, he actually, I mean, because who cares about those jerks, those insurgents, all those Danny McBride lookalikes. But what really was upsetting. But what
Daniel McBride? I mean, hey, come on now.
You like Danny McBride?
Well, no, that people say that I look like him. He looks like me.
I think I mentioned it once on the show. I think he stole
this show.
I think he stole this show and made it into vice principals. Because he had a guy, you would be the
Kenny Powers,
and I'm the guy, the Walton Goggins.
They say Kenny Powers. With
the fancy suits and the Tweety kind of way.
Right.
But anyway, he's from Fredericksburg, Danny McBride. So he obviously was close enough that he probably saw this show.
Right.
But nevertheless, Trump. Getting back to Trump, he said that. He said something.
Get a little closer because your head's coming. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. He said something very scary. He said that if there's any trouble with the next election, he's going to have the biggest rally ever, which means pretty much in Atlanta, in New York, in Washington, and it's just going to be chaos in the streets. I mean, this could be the next civil war. Which is launched by
this love it and
Trump.
Leave it mentality of these people. You don't, I mean, look, listen, let me tell you something. We are all Americans. We come from different places. There's Ellis Island. Everybody came from Italy. Everybody came from England. Everybody came from Spain. Everybody came from. We're all Americans. We became Americans. People became to Ellis Island to become free.
Asia, they came.
And then the borders. And granted,
railroad,
we look at this supposedly. Was this wall ever created by Trump? I don't think it was.
Well, it was actually quite a logistical nightmare. I mean, he expected like 1,000-mile wall, like the Great Wall of China. And I think he built. They built a couple of miles. I think.
I don't think the wall was ever created.
And it's not.
It was going to go up, and they never did. So
walls are always like a great idea, but then they don't. But then they just divide people.
We have security borders that portray or block for people that are illegal from coming in. They're saying that a lot of illegals are coming in, and they're coming in through the southern borders and through. Texas or coming through New Mexico or whatever. Look, we have border control. We have people that we pay high dollar money to control people that pass through. In Canada, same deal. Of course, the Monties are the police officers, but they have the border control up there too. You can't go up there without a passport or a special, whatever, note from your mother or pint of blood.
It's much easier, though.
But it's easier, but still the same situation. And then coming from the north, you coming from here. So we have that. So all of these numbers are skewed. All these numbers are exaggerated they're skewed and exaggerated by all these illegals coming in. People want to be free. People come to America to be free. But, I think it's just more of a, it's exaggerated. The numbers are exaggerated by all these people coming in that are allegedly illegal.
You know why we don't have an immigration problem from Canada? Because they come to America, say they want to come in a typical way that all immigrants do, and then they take a look and they see their socialized medicine in Canada that they don't have in America. America's the only country that in the whole world that doesn't have it. And we were better off in Canada, and they stay in Canada. They'll visit America.
And then the argument is,
I've been to Canada.
Wait forever. Well, I mean, they say you had to wait forever for people. You get your doctor and get looked at. I don't know.
That's all Fox News nonsense.
Wait forever to get looked at. So what is usually the turnaround time?
It has nothing to do with turnaround time. They have it's. You will never meet a Canadian that will complain about his socialized. But you probably won't meet anyone in the world that complains about it. It's only people in pundits on AM radio and Fox News and Newsmax and stuff who said, I heard people are saying it's a terrible thing. and so the very small-minded people believe it. But let me tell you something. If there's something that has to be, I'm very much in favor since the pandemic, all in on socialized medicine because of single payer option, because all the other countries have it. America's the only country that doesn't have it. You say America's a better country than all the other countries, then we can do socialized medicine better than all the other countries. So I think.
Well, you're a U.S. citizen. It should be free. You're a U.S. citizen. You have a right to vote. You have a right to fight for this country. Fight for this country. You have a right to do whatever thing. Then healthcare should be free. I think personally.
It's free everywhere else. Why not America?
It should be that way. But I mean, or give it the option. Or give it the option. But saying that to be true, these hospitals cannot turn you down.
Yeah.
Even if you don't have it, these hospitals now cannot turn you down because that's
It's still a Hippocratic oath.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, I think it's the greatest thing, socialized medicine. We should have it. All the other countries have it, and we can do it better than all the other countries. And they say it costs a lot, and taxes are going to go up. But the taxes, poor people pay enough taxes. It's the rich people, the guys who send those phallic spaceships up in space that don't pay taxes. Even our own president last year, Donald Trump, said it turned out he only paid $750. How many people here watching this show paid as a little in taxes as the president of the United States, a billionaire, did? So so there's something wrong with the system when the rich people get away with it all, and the poor people have to pay for their own medicine, pay for their own prescriptions, Right. We all got shots. We all got, and that seemed to work fine.
And then, see, look, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. I made mention singular on my show by myself. So these shots that we took, I believe were rushed because Trump he thought that he could get a second term. So he said, well, they're going to be ready now in this certain time. And of course, Dr. Fauci said, it's going to take a little time. But Trump was doing everything in his power to get it done before the election, just like that Supreme Court justice, that hypocrite that he is, that Supreme Court justice, that they didn't wait for the election. They got her in there and forced her in. Mm-hmm. But with back in hindsight, when it was with Obama, they had to wait for the election to turn around and get that judge in there, and the judge he wanted never got in. They got that, and they got that other
the Attorney General,
and they got that other fucker, in there. What's his name?
Gorsuch.
The guy about I like beer.
Oh, Kavanaugh.
Yeah, Kavanaugh. Yeah, I like beer.
Trump was able to get 3 Supreme Court picks.
So that
in theory, a Supreme Court pick should be fine.
So, but this is a precursor. This is a precursor of what I'm talking about. So they would have closed the door before the election and said, "Get her in," and got her in there anyway. So that's his agenda. So the thing is, he was trying to get it done, and then the Fauci said, "No, we got to do more work. We got to do more study." They got it in. They rushed it. McDermott, Pfizer, and Johnson & Johnson. They had some hiccups. At the time, I didn't jump right on it right away. I waited because I wanted to do my research. I wanted to wait to see how it was, and I wanted to see if these shots were legitimate under that precursor what he was trying to do. So when Biden came in, he was ready to go in. He presidential that he is. Biden was very presidential and went with it, and everybody was planning to do this, and we had our had our stimulus, and we got our stimulus money and all that to help out, help people out. So taking these McDermott, McDonald's,
like modern,
McPfizer, okay, Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson, put an M on there too, and Johnson & Johnson.
Make baby shampoo.
Yeah, there you go.
And vaccines.
Yeah, make vaccines too. But anyway, so doing all of that, people then are still getting sick. Now, we're doing the variant, the Delta variant coming into play. And, of course, you ask Trump, how did it all happen? It came from vagina China. It was from the China, vagina, China. Blaming China is, and of course, blaming, people from bats or, different bats causing all that. But then in all actuality, it was the fact that, people spread it, and it was going to be spread, unfortunately. So, getting to the point that I'm making is, with these shots, people were still getting sick. So then they do the boosters, and then they're getting sick off the boosters. So my question is, how do we know?
I know.
Okay.
I know. Okay. No one's getting sick from those shots. Nobody.
People have.
People that are getting sick are the people who are unvaccinated. Almost everyone who has died, probably everyone. Yeah, because they're unvaccinated.
Right, but people have gotten sick, though.
No, they haven't.
Yes.
No, they. Now I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what's going on. No, okay. I'll tell you what's going on. I think I know what you're talking about. What happened is that we found out with the vaccinations and the booster is that you could still catch the coronavirus. You could still transmit the coronavirus, but you probably won't die from it.
Yeah.
So believe it or not, that's a good thing that you won't die from it.
What I'm saying, Kevin, is this. I understand. Yeah. So you don't take it, you run the risk of giving it to someone that they die or you die or whatever. If you don't take the vaccination, you run the risk of dying. But what I'm saying is, but you're still getting sick. Well, people they take it and the booster, and they're still getting sick. But rather get sick than drop it.
It's only my view of it is it's only being it's only becoming a different variant, the Delta and the Omicron and everything, as a result of not enough people were taking it. Yeah. There's 40% of this country has these really backward ideas on science. They think that God's going to save them and stuff, and it's not going to. He's not going to save them. We help. Listen, I always make the joke. There's two jokes I make. One, if there was a vaccine against dandruff or hangnails, I would take it. The other thing is...
What about skin tags?
Skin tags, yeah.
We'll talk about skin tags before we get on.
Okay, but and the other thing I always say that the last thing that went through anyone's mind when they were on their deathbed with COVID is it too late to take the vaccine? Yes, it's too late. Say hello to George Washington for me. So I shouldn't. Well, it's not very nice to say. To say about George Washington.
What I'm saying is, it's still the situation that we don't really know. We know to a certain point, but we don't know how many more shots are we going to take. Well, how many more boosters we're going to take.
I'm glad you asked that question, because what's going to happen is it's going to be hopefully minimized to the point where it'll just be a typical flu that people take a flu shot for every year. It's not going to go away. A lot of these diseases, probably before this one, the most famous disease people had anything to do with was AIDS. They think AIDS might have been around 50 years ago.
Well,
50 years before then.
Let me interject this. But flu shots can get you sick too.
I get a flu shot every year, and I haven't had the flu in years.
Also, I'm just saying, it's according to the situation. Listen. COVID is a little different, like I've said this before, but I've never got a flu shot, and I don't. If I get sick, it's because I'm dealing with a lot of inferior people that give me a migraine. But I don't usually get sick. I deal with inferior people that give me a migraine, or I have headaches, or But I don't normally get sick. I'm not the kind of person that gets sick. Go ahead. But I'm just saying.
In the last year, I've had 3 COVID vaccinations. 2 in the booster, and then I've had 2 shingle shots and 2 flu shots. Okay. And then my doctor was so proud of my of what I've done, all the shots I've been getting, that he gave me a DBT shot, which is diphtheria, pertussis, and tetanus. I haven't had a tetanus shot.
What's it called?
DBT. So I'm not going to get whooping cough or lockjaw. Or a cough.
You sure? Okay.
But anyway, but I like to think, because I have all these, I can take on, whatever comes to me. I'm not saying I'm not going to get sick. I'm not going to risk it. I still wear a mask. I still take precautions. But and wash hands and everything. But I want to be healthy.
You wash your ass too, don't you?
I want to be healthy.
You wash your ass also. Yeah.
It's funny you mention about washing asses. I'd like to think people should wash their hands after they do that. So
they shake. And then they
yeah,
wash.
don't you hate
They
that?
shake it
Yeah.
off. Oh, that smells wonderful. What is that? Is that a dingleberry?
Well, you know,
is that a dingleberry?
I have a terrible story about that. When I was a kid, well, how do I phrase this? What happened was my mom thought we were getting sick too much, and she figured out that little kids are never washing their hands. She says, wash your hands and you won't get sick.
Right.
So I'm like 6 years old, and I said, I don't want to wash my hands. And then my mom said, do it anyway. And guess what? I didn't get sick. So then other kids I knew said, your mother made you wash your hands, and they were just constantly getting sick because they would. In fact, not only did they get sick, but my mom told me the wildest thing. Says never trade food in the classroom. In your lunches, because that kid's mother probably made the peanut butter and jelly sandwich, probably was wiping the kid's ass and not washing her hands, or changing maybe the little brother or sister's diaper and not washing her hands, and then make a sandwich, and then here's your sandwich, and then the kid eats
peanut butter.
Yeah, so
it's a darker peanut butter.
So what happens? Believe it or not, when I heard that when I was like 6, 7 years old, it made quite the impression on me. Wash your hands. Yeah. Wash us. Yeah. Take all the precautions. I've been a relatively healthy person. Since being a teenager. Yeah.
Right. And of course, we've done this behind the scenes, but let me publicly say that, of course, Kevin lost his mom. Condolences publicly. Condolences to your mom. She lived to be how old?
87, and she. And she was alive when the pandemic started, and so was my dad. Was he still alive?
And your dad is how old?
95.
And 95.
And let me tell you, they and I have a sister that lives at home too. And what happened was I was so worried about COVID. I said this might kill. I've seen movies like 12 Monkeys or the Andromeda Strain, or even those ones about the pandemics with the
watch out for those monkeys. Those monkeys will do some funny things. They'll throw it at you and start laughing at you.
That had Bruce Willis in it. Yeah. But I thought this might forget about a nuclear war. A plague might kill us. So I said I'm going to be focused, and I'm going to try to keep everyone alive. And even though my mom passed away, she didn't die of COVID. She died of of old age, which is fine. we all want to live a long life. Right. So.
Well, that's the same. I know you were close with your mom.
Oh yeah.
Tight with your mom, and I never met your mom.
Never. No,
I never met your mom. I don't think I did. I met your dad because you brought your dad to the party.
Yeah,
but I never met your mom.
You have actually met my mom, and she actually loved your show.
I'm trying to remember when, because I never.
I think I was talking to her in a parking lot once, and you drove by and stopped, and then she took off. He goes, "Oh, Gorgeous George is here. Hi, Gorgeous George." I don't think you spoke for very long, then she took off, and then so she has. And
well, I knew she was a nurse at St. Mary. I knew she worked at St. Mary's, and she was a nurse. Mm-hmm. I went to St. Mary's one evening. I had something happened. I got something going on with. I went to St. Mary's. I remember, and then remember because your mother worked there, and I said, "Well, is your mother going to be there?" And you were telling me no, because she's a nurse. I wanted to know if she was going to be there. But anyway.
My real name was Kravitz, and they would see her name, or her first and last name, Sheila Kravitz, and they would say, "Are you Kevin's?" Or any member of my family, "Are you Kevin's mother?" Yeah. What's hurting you? So, but then I'd always get back, and they say, "Oh, your mom took good care of us." I said, "Yeah, right. She took good care of me."
So let's go ahead and talk about one thing here, and then we're gonna wrap it up in here in a second. But
it's a long. It's like the
we have no time limit. We have no there's no limit. We just do it and whatnot. You know that. Yeah. You remember the show.
When does your show start? Have you pushed the on button yet?
Yeah. So, 27 years of Gorgeous George, 27 years for me, 25 years for him. I started in 94. You came now. Actually, wait. So let's backtrack. So I've been doing it for 27 years, going on 28. Mm-hmm. You started in 97, so it was Rozzy. Well, it's in the book. Mm-hmm. Rozzy got you and I together. Rozzy. And it was in 97.
I did it with Rozzy just 2 weeks ago.
It was, so for you, it'd be 24 going to 25. Right? I'm doing the math right? And then 27,
Silver anniversary.
27 to 28 for me, because obviously we did it for a long time. We did shows. And I have DVDs and VHS tapes still in storage. I got VH tapes when we started that haven't even seen the light of day on the internet. They're still in storage. And
so like Prince, just stockpiling all your future
stuff.
material.
We got transfer everything to DVD. There's a lot of shows that need to be transferred to DVD.
You're going to be a big hit, like maybe 100 years after you die. You'll still have stuff coming out.
Yeah, well, so we hope.
Rare episodes.
That's all you can do.
Yeah.
And this was something that I felt like I probably could have done years before, and I wanted to do this. It was something that I take pride in. I take pride in this because it's from me burning the midnight oil, talking about events and stuff that have happened. Some things were left out, some things were put in. The important things were put in. It has some typos, it has some grammar for grammar. We're going to take this bad boy and we're going to take it to a vanity press. We're going to get this thing in Barnes & Noble. It's not at Barnes & Noble. I have it on websites. Not going to get into all that, but let the cat out of the bag. There will be a new Gorgeous George Show website coming up in the next about in April.
Right.
Around about April, this is what I'm shooting for, the Gorgeous George Show. I've got the gorgeousgeorgeshow.com domain and other domains. This book will be sold on that Emerse or Emerse Commerce, whatever it is, will be sold on that website. This book is being actually sold.
It's not on eBay.
It's not. Yeah, I don't deal with eBay. This book is not in Barnes and Noble, but the next Vanity Press is going to make sure it gets replaced on Amazon, and it will be replaced it's already placed in book form on Amazon. It's on the book form on Amazon, and it will be replaced in Kindle, and there won't be any discussion about that because it will be done. Ain't nothing anybody can do or say about that. The grammar stuff, some of the grammar, some of the typos, the Vanity Press will take care of it. Another investment of a couple grand, it's worth it. And it will be published. Wait, no, it's already published. No. It is published. Yeah. But it will be put in bookstores and Barnes and Noble and such places as that. And that's all you freaking need to know.
Yes. Well, let me tell you, I'm glad I got to tell you something about. I don't think you should rewrite it. I think you should maybe write a second book.
I'm not going to rewrite it.
A sequel. You could write a sequel.
Yeah. I'm not going to rewrite it. I'm just some of the, the stuff that we could catch will be taken care of. So
you're talking about typos and grammar things. Let me tell you something. What I like about your book is that it's like one long sentence. It's like a stream of consciousness. No, I'm saying this is a good thing. If James Joyce, who wrote Ulysses, would have written a book like that, it would have been it would be considered a masterpiece. But someone else wrote it.
I was looking at paragraph, but
it's almost a Joycean.
Right, it's in paragraph, but it's not. I don't have it. It's not spaced out. It's spaced out in number count, and it doesn't have the numbers on the pages, which is another thing. But it's okay because.
But that's how you speak.
Yeah.
And I kind of like. It's almost in your vernacular. You get a better. In other words, a ghostwriter could not have, who would try to write in your tone of voice, couldn't do as well a job as you did.
Yeah.
So I think you get an authentic record of who you are.
There are a few typos. There are a few typos, a few grammar and stuff like that. That can be all corrected. It's there, and it's been. I made about close to $300. Not much, but $300.
$300.
$300.
Wow.
Yeah, I made that.
There's a lot of trips to Red Lobster.
Yeah, well, it's not. It's not. That's not. That's
Dinner in a nice
I wanted to do more than that, a whole lot more than that. But when we replace it, when we fix the typos and the grammar, it's already. It's the page count is not. It needs a page count. and it's spaced out in some places and not spaced out in some, which needs to be the manuscript needs to be adjusted. But that it doesn't matter because that will be taken care of with the investment that's going to be made.
You should invest in bookmarks. You should sell bookmarks because there's no page numbers.
Yeah.
You can make a side hustle.
I think that beyond all that, it was a book. I think it could be a movie. I think this book could be a movie. I think it was a well done story of my life. It's a great book, and that's what it is.
We'd have Danny McBride and Walton Goggins play us.
Yeah, it's my masterpiece. It is my legacy of my life and what I lived.
Well, yeah. If that'd be a great book if you've lived. But let me tell you, I think
it is.
Now I seriously,
We're gonna do your book.
That is my book. I contribute in the experience. But let me tell you, when a lot of times, sometimes every famous person had a book written about them or wrote a book, their autobiography, and sometimes that's what they leave the world. It's better than a headstone. Yeah. I mean, it's what will live on.
Well, it's it is, and I just happened to find out some things. Porter Breeden, it was the original dude that did the Grandma skit, and I didn't even know this. You saw the original Grandma skit, right? It was Matt wearing the wig and me in the. Porter Breeden is the character that was doing the boy. Yeah. And he died, and I had no idea about that. He was a good guy, and he had died, and found out also Slick Scott, the guy that was only on the Dirt Womanhood one, doing the preacher from Las Vegas and doing the intro, and Slick Scott has also passed.
Well, I should go to a doctor.
Well, yeah, we don't have that.
They go in threes.
Yeah. See, nothing should happen to the two co-hosts, or to the host or the co-host. But so Porter and Slick Scott, and they're both people that Scott was our co-host. I don't know. I just found out about Porter because we're friends on Facebook, and Porter, I saw that, and then
that's sad.
He died in 2020. Must have been COVID or something, and then. Scott, who I found out about, and I found out about that also. And I don't know how he died, but Scott had died. He was the one, the guy at Gold's Gym with me. The little expert with Gold's Gym and the Dirt Woman one. Yeah. So very, very somber. So, it's, you don't know. I mean, that was about 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Scott was a good guy. Scott was a decent human being. And 20 years later, you just don't know.
Yeah, you go
live in the moment and do what you got. Hey,
tomorrow never comes.
No, you don't.
Better just do it today.
You never know. You never know. So live life to your fullest and be a part of it, and have make babies with a lot of women.
My favorite quote is by one of my favorite
quotes.
A lot
of women make their babies.
One of my favorite quotes is by Joey Lewis. Who wrote his own book, The Joker is Wild. They made a movie about it. With Frank Sinatra playing him. He was our first stand-up comedian. One joke, you probably heard it a million times. In fact, Frank Sinatra may have said this, but actually Joey Lewis said it, and Frank said it in the movie playing him. And the line is, "You only live once, but if you do it right, once is enough."
I kind of like to have the cat with the 9 lives, or like the cat, Or maybe have the 9 lives with people you love that are no longer here. They're like the cat. They can live different lives, and be brought back and say, "Oh, it's my second life. Oh, it's my third and fourth life. It's okay. I'm here."
Did you know that there's 7 billion people living on the Earth, and there are more people alive today than have ever died in history?
A lot of people making babies.
Well, there's a population explosion, and our Earth cannot really take that drain on water and air and natural resources and housing and all that stuff. I mean, you can't do anything about it, but I mean, it is a lot of people on Earth. But the trouble is they all live in pockets like
What are
in
they doing
China.
in Mars?
Well, a lot of that stuff, all the science fiction about Mars and stuff, is all about
I do believe that.
or going to the moon. Is part of it is I think. There's a place we can go in
I do
case
believe there's
Earth
life
gets
form.
overcrowded.
I do believe there's life forms in Mars. I do believe that. I mean, what are they doing up there?
They have an atmosphere like ours.
What kind of TV they're watching, or what? Are they watching us in Mars?
I don't think they have it now.
Are they watching us?
I
in
mean,
Mars?
there are. They have sent the Pioneer or whatever the rover there, and and we have photographs of their atmosphere and of their it's basically a red desert is their is what Mars is like.
Yeah.
But in theory you could actually create with a new atmosphere a planet just like ours if we immigrated there. Yeah. Who knows? There's all this speculation that we came from a planet and moved to Earth.
Look at Star Trek. It pretty much tells you everything you want to know. Star Trek, Spock, is your life in your anus? Captain, that's highly illogical. Spock, is your life in your penis? Captain, I don't kiss and tell. That's highly illogical.
He's like the only living person from that. No, George Takei.
Well, George, oh my.
And a few people.
Oh my.
Yeah. They were alive for a long time ago.
Yeah, well, actually, Sulu and Captain Kirk is 90.
Now that I mentioned, there's 4
Captain
people
Kirk
still
is
alive.
90.
There's 4 people still alive from that show that are regulars.
Well, they're big regulars and irregular.
And then there's a lot of the people who appeared on Joan Collins stuff like that. They're still alive. Yeah.
Wasn't that joke you said about me and Joan Collins that she's beating me? Or?
No, it wasn't Joan
that
Collins.
joke
It was Joan Crawford.
Oh, Joan Crawford. What was that joke?
I said that Gorgeous George once made love Gorgeous George once made love to Joan Crawford while she was beating her kids.
Okay. That's an image right there. And she was moaning and groaning while she was beating her kids. Yes. Beating her kids, just like that. I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah.
So look, it's great. And it's reminiscing, we're back. And it's reminiscing, we're back in focus here. will continue doing this, and I hope that we can do more.
Yeah, thanks for having me here.
I continue doing more shows.
Luscious Penthouse.
Yes, and I will, and I hope that you
Lush Penthouse.
take the cue and come on back, and we'll do more shows like the way it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
I am who I am. I don't waver and change like the wind. I am who I said I am. Like Yahweh. Yahweh is I am what I am. And of course Popeye, I am what I am.
I know. It was
what is that?
Descartes said, I think, therefore I am.
Well, there you go.
And then Popeye said, I am what I am.
Or I thought it was I am what I am.
I am what I am.
Yeah, just like that. Anyway, I got the pipe still like Popeye too. All right, Popeye's chicken is overrated, by the way. Let you know that. Anyway, hey.
Spinach.
Well, the spinach, yeah, that's good, but it's especially cured and brewed spinach from his testicles. Anyway,
for someone with a vegan lifestyle that Popeye had, I'm surprised he was so violent and hot-tempered.
Well, was he Irish?
Might have been.
Okay, was he Irish?
He had an Irish.
And olive oil was so small.
Olive oil
was just a small
trinket. Do you ever think that Brutus and Popeye, they would be good friends if it weren't for olive oil pitting them against each other? It's almost like, why are we fighting over olive oil? Right. We should have a beer and go to another town where better looking women are.
I was playing back some old TV Land stuff, and we're totally getting off here, but I was playing some old stuff. The Beverly Hillbillies, man. I mean, I'd play that shit. And Mr. Drysdale and Jed Clampett. I mean, all that crap is funny.
Jethro's still alive.
Jethro is still alive, but there's this part where Jed Clampett is. I got it on Facebook.
Yeah.
He's jamming like that, and he keeps saying the same old thing on the guitar, and Mr. Drysdale had announced him as an entertainer, and Jed Clampett, and he's like jamming like that. And Granny's on. She said, "Oh, Jeff," and then or she's like, "Oh, Jed, he's lost his marbles,"
We should next time we talk. We should talk. I could tell you all the stuff about the Beverly Hillbillies and the cast.
Oh yeah,
and pretty well.
Irene,
I'll give you a little glimpse of it.
that was a good
Donna
show.
Douglas had an affair with Elvis, and that was right before she started the Beverly Hillbillies, and she was very depressed, despondent, and the Beverly Hillbillies got her out of her funk.
Who else? Just a while ago, you told me Elsa had an affair with.
I just found out recently.
So Sally Strother.
On a podcast that Sally Strother.
Sally Strother is an All in the Family. Played Gloria.
Yeah.
Played Gloria. Yeah. And of course, you saw the Gilbert Godfrey shout out on the book, right?
Oh yeah.
Gilbert Godfrey
He's a
shout
fan
out
of
the
your.
book.
He's a fan of your book.
Yeah, he's a fan of the book. You know, a fan of. Well, I mean, you know Gilbert, don't you? There you go.
I met Will Gilbert.
Yeah, he was supposed to come on the show and do an interview with me. All right, folks, it's hour and a half.
I can't meet anyone anymore.
Yeah.
Because of masks and no one wants.
All
to
right,
post
we're going to be
photos.
doing some more shows here. It's one Mona Lisa, one Leaning Tower of Pisa, and there's only one Gorgeous George. Tell your mama, tell your granny, we are what is causing all of this.
Play it
Woo.
again, Sam.
Woo!